All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy whatever day you're listening to this, whether it's fight day on Saturday, Friday, Thursday. We're excited to talk UFC 317 with my man, Big Marley. Still rocking his Pacers gear. What a heartbreak. Hey, what a great year for sure. But it's good game 7. Unfortunate with Tyrese. Still love seeing the support you had. You'll take that season all day long as a Pacers fan. We're here talking fights, though. First thing that stands out, pay-per-view. 2 5-round fights. Ilya moving up, trying to get the lightweight belt. Pantoia, Kai Kara France down there for the flyweights. Going to be an awesome card. Plenty of good fights littered throughout. Van Royval, an absolute banger. Rodriguez, Hermanson should be fun. Delgado, Emil, great fight. Denise, Hines, heavily favored to go the distance. Only 12 fights. Fingers crossed we keep all 12. But if we do, I think it's a very good DFS card. One that you could see 6, 7, 8 dupes or less win it, and that's what I'll be looking for myself. Big Marley, how we doing on this fine Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, good. I think it's a pretty solid card. Great main event. Got another title fight as well, and then there's a couple bangers. Really, the main card. The prelims could be missed for the most part, but for DFS, they'll be important. But yeah, I mean, what is it, 200K up top this week? So I'll be looking forward to it. I'll have, my usual 20 or so lineups, most likely. Sometimes 20 turns into 50, sometimes 50 turns into 100, but you know how it goes, so we'll see.
Absolutely. I know how that goes for sure. Yeah, you said mid or prelim just but minus 800, minus 325. This fight just Cedricus Dumas, ankle monitor, who knows? I don't want to really get into that crap, but he pulled out yesterday, or he was taken out, so we had a new opponent step in. That's why you see an 8,300. No inside the distance prop yet, but minus 130 for under 1.5. So that fight's supposed to finish. McKini fight's supposed to finish. Delgado, Emil is supposed to finish. Can't even talk right now. I'm getting so excited, but man, I think there's good fights. And so many, you could see 100 plus from a lot of these guys on the mid-tier stuff. So I'm not making a rule for these 5-round fights. I will have one of the 4 in all my teams. That's not a hot take. Almost everyone will build that way. But I'll allow fight fades on either side. I'll jump ahead, I guess, a little bit, because I think the big question people will ask, if you had to fade one, or which one do you prefer? Which one would you rather fade? I prefer the Pantoia Kai fight if picking. And I'd rather fade the Ilya Charles. Now, it's obviously scary, probably interesting for most to hear that, as it's a minus 800 to finish versus minus 150. But I'm picking Ilya. I think Kai's more live, and the line indicates that. And Ilya's someone that, Charles will probably walk forward, make him fight, and Ilya will put up a big score. But if he doesn't, Ilya can take his time. As you see, 4.69 significant strikes per minute, scored less than 100 in the Holloway knockout. I do think there's a past second, third round. He gets 101, 104, 97, and that's just not enough at 9,300. Do you have any lean if you had to pick one of those 2 fights? Any broad slate for you before we go fight by fight?
Oh, man, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably be close to all in on both of them. Maybe if I was making 150, I would have 15% or so without either of them, or one or either. Man, I would say I prefer the main event just because they're 2 of my favorite guys, and might as well root for one of them,
Yeah. No, I hear you for sure. What's going on, Mateus? Always saying the Bills. Vincent, very nice words for you. Yes, we're bringing you the show every single week, whether it's almost always Big Marley and I. I got a couple trips coming up. You might see a special guest. I'm not even going to hint at who it is, but an awesome show there. And if we can't do it on Thursday, which is our normal time, we always try and get it up on Wednesday. So busy time. Summers are busy over here. It's like not the break from DFS, but so much less going on. DFS revolves around football in my mind, in my household, with the wife. football season, it's all grind time since MMA never ends. NBA, MLB even goes in a little bit. Obviously, football takes up a lot. After that, you got to enjoy life a little bit in the summer. So a little more flexible with these times. Appreciate you guys. Obviously, most watch on playback. Nothing changes with MMA. And if fights do get canceled and stuff, being a premium member, you get all of our updated rankings, slate planned, ownership, projections, everything loaded into Saber Sim on Friday. This is all color-coded, filled in completely from Friday. Langley, what's going on? Good to see you. Jordan in here. Josh in here as always. Appreciate y'all. That's enough talking. We're going first fight of the night. You are seeing one of the biggest favorites ever in the UFC. Minus 2,500 is Jacoby Smith. Taking that Nico Price at plus 1,200. Minus 800 for this fight to finish. Smith minus 1,000 inside the distance. Price plus 1,800 inside the distance. Smith in round one, minus 165. So Smith in round one open, minus 120. Now minus 165. I saw that line at minus 120 a couple of days ago. Problem is just on Bet Online. I wanted to hammer it. I would have put 12,200 to win 10,000. This dude's going to kill him in the first round. DFS and sports betting is different, though. DFS, he can easily get a first-round knockout and not even sniff the winner. Why do I say that? $9,900. The next highest-priced fighter on the card, $9,300 in Ilya. That's a huge gap. Also, Ilya, 5 rounds. Pantoia, 5 rounds. Terrence McKinney, this dude's a bat out of hell with all the upside in the world. Delgado Emil is going to be a great fight. This fight's going to be heavily favored to finish. At the end of the day, Moano, Darius, wrestling upside, supposed to finish. There's so many. Rodriguez, solid. Denise is like minus 170 inside the distance. Like, there's other people who are a lot cheaper who have a lot of upside as well. Right now, I have Jacoby Smith as underweight and Price as a fade. It is really scary. I really wanted your take on this, though. No way I'm playing Price in 10,000 teams. Smith, though, at 9,900. What do you want? How do you play him? Talk about that.
I mean, yeah, I have a hard time seeing how he loses. It would have to be, a flash knockout or just a poor performance where he lands 40 strikes and the judges give it to Price. But the talent's all there. I mean, he's got mean power on the feet. He could wrestle for 15 minutes if he wants to. And if we turn knockouts off, I think he's the better striker over the course of 15 minutes too. So I really just don't see how Price is going to win the fight. So I'm going to X him out. Maybe like a 6,300 could get it there if there are no dogs on the card and you just need that super cheap salary. But I'm not going to have enough lineups to get there. 9,900. That's the most we've ever seen. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I think I'm going to be playing him because I know I will have a good amount of Oliveira. The issue is a lot of people who are playing Oliveira are going to be able to get up to Smith, and that's going to be a popular combination. So I'm not sure how much I'll get of Smith. I think he is great on paper, but he might score 105 points again like he did in his last fight, and 105 probably is not going to cut it. You're right. So maybe an underweight stance is the way to go on him, but I do think he wins in the first round, probably gets a takedown or two en route to a knockout. So give me 110, 115 points possibly for Smith here. I will get some, but definitely not going to get as much as I possibly planned on an hour or two ago.
Yeah, it's just really hard. Like, I like Ilya to win. I like Pantoia to win, to fast forward that way. And when that's the case, it's hard for me to find that much more money to click Smith. And when I do, leaving 400 with Smith is really hard. Like, you can leave, doing that, you can leave 1,100 with the same Ilya team, and that very well could be unique. Whereas a Smith team leaving 400 might be duped a little more. Like, it's just so much. Jacoby has to win in round one at minus 165. Then almost after that, it's like he either needs the first minute bonus, or multiple takedowns or multiple knockdowns. And even so, 119 might not be enough. It's not guaranteed to be enough on this card because other guys can get close to that. If not enough dogs win, like Ilya scoring 10 less, but because he's 600 less, like the 400 optimal, like you couldn't find the extra 200 to get up to Smith. Just so many ways he can't get there. At 9,900, I'm going to keep him in my pool. If I got 10% from Saber Sim and I loved everything, I honestly would probably roll with it. If I had 40% and loved everything, I would do that, but I just really doubt I get that much. So I bet you I'll be underweight Smith, no Nico Price. I can't remember who you told me last week. I know you changed your name, by the way. You're the one I called out from earlier, but I can't remember what dogs you said. Remind me, but good stuff. I always want dogs. Anyone in here, you guys got hot takes on dogs, I always want to let you know. But hey, appreciate you changing the logo. I see you changed your name. Appreciate the sport. I think it was Who's Watching before. Ben, what's going on as well? All right, next fight on the card. Janata Denise minus 355 taking on Elvin Hines plus 290. Minus 325 for this fight to finish. Denise minus 175 inside the distance. Hines plus 385. Denise in round one plus 125. So right there. Oh, I do want to shout you out. Shout out to Josh. So I told you, I look at the YouTube comments. He mentioned like late Friday night or something about Segula training at like ATT, how it didn't necessarily put him on Segula as much as it took him off Alascaba. When I was building my teams, Saber was giving me more Segula than I wanted. I was like, man. Then I saw Josh's comment, and I left it where it's at. I didn't win shit, but I had a lot more than I otherwise would have had because of the comments from you, Josh. So shout out to you. I responded to you in the YouTube comments. I know you saw that. So, yeah, you deserve that for sure. All right, Denise minus 175, Hines plus 385 inside the distance. You just look at it, minus 325 to finish. Both guys good inside the distance for their price. Ownership should be in check on both. I don't know how you don't play this fight. Both sides. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely want exposure to both sides. I do think a legit way that this could go would be a Hines first round takedown. He keeps top control for the most of that round, and then Denise knocks him out in the second round, and that's probably too late at that point, especially if you waste the whole first round on your back. So that's what I'm kind of worried about with Hines, because to me, he looks like a classic barroom brawler. Like he's going to go for his knockout shot or two, and when it doesn't hit, he's going to go for the takedown. And his takedowns are not pretty. He'll grab onto a leg and he'll work his way to a takedown. And when he gets in top, he'll try to get a TKO with ground and pound. But I just don't know that Denise is going to be that easy to put away, even if he is taken down. So I think after round one, the takedowns are going to be even harder to come by, and Denise is just going to be too much for this guy on the feet. So I do like Denise to get a knockout in this fight, but I think it's going to be a second round knockout after possibly dropping the first round. So I might go a little bit underweight to Denise. Maybe underweight as a whole, possibly. I'm not sure exactly my ownership on this one, but Hines, I do think, has big upside just because of that first round takedown. And if he can get a ground and pound stoppage, even if it's not a good stoppage, that's 100+ points where he's going to be on the optimal lineup. So I prefer Hines if I was going to play one of these guys in one lineup, just for that reason, because Denise has a lot of competition up there in that 9K range.
Yeah, all that makes sense for sure. Like Hines is a very easy click for me. Again, especially like I'm not picking Charles, I'm not picking Kai. Doesn't mean I'm not playing them, but like who's right in that range price right between them that has upside? 100% Alvin Hines. Wants it on the ground, has the advantage there. Denise the striker. I'm looking at this as a clash of styles. I am picking Denise by first round knockout though, because if Hines can't get takedowns, former kickboxer, glory kickboxer, 2 inches in height advantage, 5-inch reach advantage. Leg kicks should be money. Power is money. He's taking money on the inside the distance, taking money in round one. And he's priced in between Pantoia, Topuria. This, like, when I'm playing them, maybe I go Denise, Topuria, Kai Kara France. Like, Denise is a way to get a little different there. People will go Pantoia more, Ilya more, Terrence McKinney more. And at the end of the day, like from there, yeah, then people will mix and match. But Ilya Pantoia very well will be right around 50%. And McKinney's probably somewhere around there too. So Denise just can't be that highly owned. And I do prefer Denise to a Rodriguez, to a Lima, to a Cortez. So at the end of the day, he's one of my favorite pivots up in that 9K range that I do think has first round knockout upside, 1 or 2 knockdown ability, 112, 113. Give me that all day long. All right, we'll keep it rolling. Next fight on the card. So again, this is the one. It was supposed to be Jackson McVey taking on Cedricus Dumas. Dumas out, ankle monitor couldn't come off in time. I don't know, dude's got to figure something out. Couldn't believe the UFC almost even gave him another chance. So out was Dumas on Tuesday, yesterday. In steps Christopher Uert. Both these guys making their UFC debut, is that's why you see no, significant strikes or takedown numbers. I do like how they priced Uert at the same price as McVey, though, at 8,300. So it was McVey was like minus 180 over Dumas when it got closed. So 8,300, 7,900 Dumas was. But now Uert takes this fight, opens plus 190, and this is all yesterday on Tuesday. Now he's minus 170. Just a ton of line movement on the Uert side. DK puts him in the player pool on Wednesday. I love it. 8,300. These guys are the same price. Right now it's minus. Oh, let me refresh. All right, still minus 130. Right now it's minus 130 Uert, plus 110 McVey. The only prop I see under 1.5 at minus 130. It's open minus 185. So money coming in on the over. But any fight expected to finish in under 1.5 rounds, right in the mid-tier, that's a fight I want, especially you were taking on short notice. Good fight. I don't know. I haven't watched this Uert guy. I already bet McVey over Dumas. More so Dumas is just ass. And McVey, he'll fight for my dollar. He gets a lot of first-round finishes. But I don't know anything about this Uert guy yet. So talk to me.
Yeah, just right before the pod started, I watched maybe Uert's last two fights. One of them ended in a body shot where he was taken down in that fight, and then it looked like the opponent gassed from one takedown, and then he hit him with a body shot and ended it with like a minute left in the first round. Nothing super impressive there. I mean, it was a good body shot. But then in the most recent fight, I think his last fight, it was a 3-round decision, which McVey has never done. McVey's never been past 5 minutes in a fight. And if Uert is able to make it out of this first round, I feel like that decision I saw is going to lead to a Uert win here, because he was really putting on the pace. The longer the fight went, he was just stepping up the volume. Not very good kicks, but he does kick the leg a lot, which is good to see. But he had really good volume with his hands, and I think he could just put it on McVey enough where McVey quits in the second or the third. But McVey has one of the higher ceilings on the card because he is going to go after that kill in the first round. I mean, he's not really talented in my opinion, but he's kind of like a crash forward type of guy and try to take his opponent down. And then when he's on the ground, he's going to feel more comfortable there. Uert was taken down by that guy that he knocked out, so maybe McVey can get it there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one, but I do think it's going to be an important fight to target. So I'll probably have it in really too many lineups. And I hate putting like Uert into a build, putting in only Uert lineups and then doing the same exact thing for McVey, but that's a possibility on this card. I'm going to watch more Uert and hope that I can find more of a solid stand where I don't have to just split my money. But right now I am going to lean towards Uert just because I don't trust these guys who haven't been past one round in their entire career, amateur or professional. So give me Uert.
I'm leaning Uert for the line movement. Again, I got to actually look into this Uert guy a little more. I just almost know I'm going to play a lot of this fight. McVey never been out of 5 minutes. Pretty much a coin flip in a fight favored to finish under 1.5. Both inside the distance props are probably like in the plus 200 to plus 170 range. If that's the case at 8,300 a piece, and they just can't be super owned because people are going to play mid-tier fights. This next fight we'll talk about falls right outside the mid-tier. Will be very highly owned, though. Might as well be mid-tier. Delgado Emil, it's going to be owned. Phenomenal fight. It's going to be owned for a reason. And then Moicano Darius, people are going to play that fight expected to finish. I do think is probably lower owned. Royval Van, those are two big names. High volume. People will click some of it. So the mid-tier is loaded this week, which will keep this ownership pretty low. I'm going to jam these Denise Hines fight, probably overweight. McVey Uert, probably overweight. McKini Borchev, going to probably be overweight. I'm going to probably be overweight on a decent amount of these prelim fights. And that's why I'm not making the rule in the two main events. I'm going to probably have fight fades for both. Now I'll have plenty of both. If I'm playing like Pantoia, Pantoia, I'm more likely to probably play McVey than Uert because right now Uert's the favorite. If it stays true, Uert's going to be a good bit higher on than McVey with the same pricing. So chalk your lineups. Maybe I lean McVey a little bit when I'm different, leaving money, etc. Maybe I'm more likely to go Uert there. But I assume as long as Uert keeps taking money, I probably will play more Uert than McVey, as I think I can get different in other spots on this card, leave money, etc. And I'll take the favorite, the guy who has the better cardio. But I need to look into that one a little more too. All my write-ups I've done so far, except that one. I wrote up the Dumas fight. Dumas stinks. I couldn't wait to play McVey. But this one a little tougher. Hey, appreciate that, Coach. Love having you watching live. Watching on playback. Whenever you're watching, all we ask is the like button and the subscribe button, though. Helps us out a ton. Yeah, that seems like a good way to put it. But I will say, if McVey just completely gasses after round one, we know when there's a fresh fighter against a fighter with no cardio, you can get points in bunches real fast. So I think both have a good upside. I think we see a good inside the distance prop on both sides. We'll keep moving. Next fight on the card. What a banger. Anytime you see the name Terrence McKinney, you know you're in for a fun fight. Minus 164 McKinney, plus 144 is Borchev. Minus 800 for this fight to finish. McKinney minus 145 minus 145 inside the distance. Borchev plus 175 inside the distance. Round one props, McKinney plus 140. Borchev plus 350. What are we doing in this one?
Loading up. Like all McKinney fights, we're just going to load up in DFS. McKinney's first round or bust. He's a possible champion if fights were only 5 minutes long. He's really the full package for one round. He can wrestle, he can grapple. He's a good striker. He's dangerous in round one. But then he just completely falls apart after that first round. And this is a tough fight because he might not have the striking edge in round one. Maybe he is more powerful and durable, but Borchev is one of the cleanest strikers in the UFC. And after round one, I think he would just completely dominate McKinney. He would knock him out in the second round, most likely. But he's got to get there. And if McKinney wants to wrestle in the first round, that's his best path to victory. Get a takedown, just try and hurt Borchev on the ground, make him give up his back, tap him out, flatten him out, get a ground and pound stoppage, something like that. But McKinney has 110-point upside in this one. He could match Jacoby Smith for what is it, 1,300 less. So I like McKinney quite a bit. But at the same time, Borchev is going to be one of my favorite underdogs on the card because he could just completely spark McKinney in the first round and never let McKinney get a takedown, or possibly just weather the first round storm, finish him in the second round, still get 80, 90 points, and that's probably good enough on this card.
Yeah, I got really nothing more to add. Terrence McKinney fight, when you see that name, you're going to load up on it. The dude's all gas, no breaks in round one. Doesn't deal with adversity well if it gets to round two. Like the odds, McKinney was more likely to finish in round two than Borchev at open, and that completely flipped. Borchev is now more likely to finish in round two than McKinney is, and McKinney's inside the distance in round one went up, whereas I believe Borchev's went down. And it's clear as day, like McKinney's super dangerous. I think he's the more powerful, more dangerous striker early. The dude just has the death touch, it seems. Way better wrestler, grappler, so explosive, athletic. But he just falls off a cliff after that first round. So if Borchev can survive, he can put up 115 at 7,600 and a score you absolutely need. McKinney can also do the same at 8,600. Again, a reason I'm not forcing both title fights. I do think McKinney can outscore them in a vacuum. For cheaper, ownership will be there. But again, for cheaper, if you leave the money, that's a way to get different with him. Definitely one of my favorite fights on the card, as almost every Terrence McKinney fight is. All right, next fight on the card. Go from one of my favorites to my least favorites. Tracy Cortez minus 260. Vivian Arujo plus 220. Plus 375 for this fight to finish. Vivian plus 500 inside the distance. Cortez plus 800. So the dog in Vivian much more likely to finish at plus 500 versus Cortez at plus 800. I'm not playing this fight in 20 and below. If I did, it would be Vivian, a live dog, maybe she scores 70 in a win. Like you just take any win at 7,300. But on a card, I do think dogs win. I do think a lot of dogs have upside. And look at this. This fight's minus 500 to go the distance. Super heavily favored. The next most likely is the Royval Van fight at minus 190. On a card that I am really struggling right now to find fades and people not to play, why not fade the fight that's minus 500 go the distance with the minus 260 favorite? If Cortez wins, yes, she can wrestle. I mean, she could score 101, and that still not be enough at 8,900. And I don't see her scoring 101. So I'm fading this fight in 20 and below. If I had to pick a side, it would definitely be the savings with Vivian. What about you?
Yeah, dog or pass for me. I'm picking Cortez to win because the biggest edge in this fight should be her wrestling. If she can get a takedown, I feel like she'll be able to keep it there long enough to win rounds, and she should be able to keep it close enough minute-wise on the feet. But Vivian could land a takedown or two throughout this fight too. She's got more power on the feet. I just don't expect a finish in this fight, but she could pull off just a close decision. So, yeah, dog or pass for DFS. I'm just not picking her to win, so usually that's not going to lead me to getting too much of her either. Yeah.
I'm going to exit out again in 20 and below. If I played 150 teams, I would play 23 of the 24 fighters, excluding Nico Price. But I would play Vivian. I'd play a little Cortez. I would mix it in. If I had to cross someone else out after, it would be Cortez, though. Just simply, there's so many other people in the high up 8K range, 9K range that I would rather click that I think have a lot more upside. All right. Before we do get to the next card, if you do want to join us at ShipItNation.com right now, PGA going on, best PGA team in the business by far, MLB in full force, MMA, of course, and NASCAR. Hey, if you like MMA, big prizes on Saturday. NASCAR has huge prizes on Sunday as well. You pick 6 drivers. There's not like correlation or anti-correlation, I should say, like there is MMA as much, but there is strategy, dominators, what kind of race it is, stuff like that. Eric, our guy at the game, does a great job there. If you want to give us a try at Shipping Nation, no better time. Use that promo code UFC75. Usually $99. You get Saber Sim Core, projections, ownership of ours, and the best Discord around. Use that code UFC75. Takes $99 all the way down to $24 for the first month. Absolutely cannot beat that deal. If you do join, most definitely do get in the Discord. We would love to have you. I am usually dropping like line movement updates on Saturday when I see them for MMA. Big Marley's in the Discord. Can always ask questions. Plenty of knowledgeable members in there as well. Again, UFC 75 is the code. What a fight we have right here, Big Marley. This one should be good in the mid-tier. Jose Delgado, minus 160. Taking on Hyder Emil, plus 140. Minus 200 for this fight to finish. Emil, plus 195 inside the distance. Delgado, plus 150. Take it away, man. This is a good one.
Yeah, I like this fight. I'll be on both sides of this one because Emil fights are just going to be good to target for DFS. He's just an aggressive, push-forward type of guy. He'll land volume. He'll try to overwhelm his opponent and knock him out. If that doesn't work, the volume could just win on points. So I feel like that's going to be his style every time out. That could lead to him putting up a decent score as an underdog, and it could also lead to his downfall with Delgado possibly knocking him out, because I do think Delgado is the sharper striker in this one. He's got better footwork, just more of a sniper, where I think Emil will try to overwhelm him. Delgado will try to pick his shot and just put him away with something he doesn't see coming. But either way, I like this fight, and I think both sides have 100-plus upside, and it also shouldn't be overly owned on this card. So I'll get a good amount of it, and it's closer. I think a 4-star is perfect, but I'd say it's even closer to a 5-star than it is a 3-star for me. I'll get a good amount of this one.
I agree with all you said. I would put it at a 4-star too. Like, it's such a great fight. It could score 98 though, and maybe not be on the winner. I mean, you sign up for 98 all day long, but again, this McVey Uert fight going to be heavily favored to go or to finish. We have Moano Darius mid-tier fight with wrestlers. McKini Borchev is 100 more than this fight, very highly expected to finish. So it just shows how strong that mid-tier is. Again, that allows you to leave some money on the table. And people also want these 5-round fights that are stars and scrubs, which makes this a really fun, interesting card. You'll see both things used for roster construction wise. And again, that's why I'm not forcing the Ilya at Pantoia, because if they win and score 101, that's not guaranteed at all to be enough. If I knew that, I would be very, very underweight, obviously, because I know how much ownership they're coming with. So, yeah, I'm hammering this fight. It's just banger, absolute banger. I'm picking Delgado. I think Emil walks into a big one. Both guys very, very impressive, though. 8-year age gap, which also had me leading Delgado's side, 2 inches in height, 3-inch reach advantage. But, man, Delgado will fight for your both guys will fight for your dollar, especially Emil, though, will walk forward all fight long and push a high pace trying to break Delgado. Next fight on the card, pretty solid one. Gregory Rodriguez, minus 220. Jack Hermanson, plus 185. Minus 130 for this fight to finish. Rodriguez, plus 110 inside the distance. Hermanson, plus 560. Interesting note in this one, Rodriguez opened plus 140 to finish, now plus 110. On Monday, when I put up these odds, Rodriguez was minus 202. Now he is minus 220. Also, this fight was minus 110 to finish on Monday. Now minus 130. All of that's good on the Rodriguez side. Inside the distance going the right way. Fight to finish going the right way. His money line going the right way. And he just can't be that owned at 8,800 with the two favorites up top. McKini for cheaper. He's going to get some, but another pivot I'm looking at in that really loaded range that has a 100-point upside. What are you doing?
Yeah, another fight I like both sides of. I like the Rodriguez side more. I just think he's the better fighter. I like him to have the boxing advantage on the feet. He's going to be more powerful as well. I like him to be the better wrestler, the more dangerous grappler. But his worry in every fight is his chin. Hermanson's not really a knockout type of fighter, but he could definitely put away Rodriguez really in any round. And I think points-wise, Rodriguez probably favored early, but Hermanson could come back late and really put it on him. I don't see Hermanson slowing down in this fight, where I do think Rodriguez could. And Hermanson could put up 90, 95-plus points as an underdog here. So I think he is a solid underdog to target. But I'm going to pick Rodriguez. I feel like I always pick Rodriguez. I just like his style as long as that chin holds up, and I'm going to take him to get a knockout.
I think it's a great fight. My preferred side and pick is Hermanson. I just think at the end of the day, the odds are a little too wide for the power advantage is heavily favored to the Rodriguez side. But if you're telling me that knockouts turned off, as you love to say, and I love it, the minute winner, super close. I think volume's really close. I think Hermanson's more defensively sound. I'm not sure who's better on the mat. Rodriguez, a black belt. Hermanson, very, very good on the mat as well. Rodriguez just physically stronger. I think the wrestling and grappling kind of negates itself. And if that happens, I'll take a 1,400 cheaper fighter where he gets 78. That might be enough. It allows me to spend up for other stuff. Whereas 88 for Rodriguez, 93, you don't feel good about that. You need a big boy. But again, a lot of line movement in the right side, ownership good. I'll play him and chalk your lineups probably to get different. And I like Hermanson as one of my favorite dogs. I am picking him to win. Don't love his upside as much. But again, give me 75 right now on this card at 7,400 to jam in some of these studs up top. So I like it. Prefer Hermanson, and I'm picking him. Next fight, another great fight. Felipe Lima, minus 185. Peyton Talbot, plus 160. Plus 245 inside the distance for the underdog in Talbot. Plus 400 for Lima. So I wanted your take on this. I know for sure I'm playing Talbot. I know for sure Talbot's my preferred play. A high-volume striker coming off a bad loss that I think the market might have overreacted a little bit. Now, Lima's good. There's no doubt. But the big thing, $1,200 difference. I just talked about Hermanson. Talbot has way more upside than Hermanson. I prefer Talbot for 100 more. Throws more volume, way better inside the distance prop. Can he stuff takedowns is the question. And throwing it to Lima, he has to be low owned. Again, that loaded range. McKinney's there. Rodriguez is there. Denise is somewhat around. He's 8,700 at plus 400 inside the distance. But he can wrestle. Talbot just got taken out a million times by Barcelos. The path is clear. Can we see 6+ takedowns for Lima? Do we want to go overweight on him? I need your Lima take.
I'm actually thinking this is closer to a 2-star for me. I'm not in love with this fight. I think Lima is just up there in a tougher range where I don't love his ceiling compared to the other people around him. Even if he does, like 6 takedowns might be needed from him in this fight. I just don't think he's going to be active enough to have 120-point ceiling like some of the other fighters on this card do. So I think I will be underweight or possibly fading Lima. If I have 20 lineups, I doubt I get to any Lima on this card. Talbot, on the other hand, 7,500, he can strike at a high volume. I do think he probably has the overall striking edge. He could knock out Lima, score very well, but he could also put up over 10x in a decision here. So I'd say my preferred play will be Talbot. I don't know how much I'll get because I am picking Lima to win. I think Lima will get 2 to 3 takedowns throughout this fight. Probably keep a lot of control time, whether it be in like top mount or with back control. But back control would just probably be the worst because he's probably just fishing for a rear naked and not scoring anything along the way. And I think that's possible. So I'll be underweight to the fight. Give me Lima to win, but I'll be rooting for Talbot with my DFS lineups.
I think I was struggling finding enough fades on this card. I found 3. I usually aim for 4. I might switch Lima to a fade. I had him underweight. I might just fully fade him in 20 and below. But I'm just worried. Just worried after that Barcelos performance that Lima sticks with that same game plan. And if he dumps him and Talbot keeps getting up and he dumps him again and he keeps going, you literally would just it could be really, really tough to watch, especially if you get everything else right on the card. So now I just talked myself out of it. I'm only doing my 3 fades and 20 and below. I'll keep them in the pool. Maybe it's 1 team, 2 teams, 3. But if I'm watching it, maybe I can at least tell myself, well, at this point, I'm probably dead. Like only a couple fights left, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, that's how 20 lineup starts turning into 50. I'm like, I don't have any Lima exposure. I need to get some Lima. And then I start putting in more lineups. And next thing you know, I got 50 instead of the 20.
I feel you. I'm the exact same way. Going to definitely be over 20 lineup type of week for me. Prizes are massive. Phenomenal DFS card. Fingers crossed we keep all 12. 2 5-rounders makes roster construction fun. It's a great weekend. Ready to make some money. Excited to watch these awesome fights. 6:30 Eastern. T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, fight capital of the world. 4 fights left. Rebooking. We're supposed to get this one January. We were supposed to get this. Rio and I were headed to the fights. It was supposed to be Sarukian, Islam, Darius, and Moicano. Out was Arman Sarukian. Renato Moicano stepped in for him to take on Islam. Then Benil did not get a fight, but he did get paid. We get it this week instead. Moicano minus 120. Darius plus 100, minus 135 for this fight to finish. Moicano plus 190 inside the distance. Darius plus 240. A couple things that stood out to me. The first booking, Moicano was a minus 150 favorite. Benil was plus 130. So who knows if it was from what Moicano or what Islam did to Moicano. The line 30 cents lighter. Moicano's still the favorite, minus 120. Again, Monday, this fight, minus 155 to finish. Now minus 135. So some money coming in on the over. How much wrestling do you see? If so, who do you see more likely to be the wrestler? Can this fight finish? How does it compare to others in the mid-tier? Yeah, what are we doing?
I'm thinking I go underweight to the card because I'm just going to pick a side in this one as Moicano as my preferred play. Actually, when I sent my original matchup picks to Sportsline, probably really early in the week, Moicano was minus 225. So I don't know what happened between other than him losing to Islam for it to go from 70% down to damn near 50. So that is a little worrying. And maybe I end up switching my preferred play to Darius and then just go no Moicano. But I think this is a fight I just want to pick either one side or fade it both because I do think it mainly plays out on the feet. They're both really good grapplers. I don't know that either one of them wants to play with fire. I think Darius would be the more likely wrestler, but I'm not confident about that. It could be Moicano. I just think that it mainly plays out on the feet. And I don't think it'll be a crazy high pace. I think the winner in this one could score 70 either way. So my plan more so would just be to get away from this fight as much as I can because I like the Uert, McVey. I like the Van Royval a little bit more than this as well. And I'm struggling to find fades on this card. So I think this is a good one to just get away from. I'm not going to completely fade it, but I will try to get away from it as much as I can.
Okay. I was going to ask you because it was tough. The Royval, Van, Moicano, Darius, like you had both as 3 stars. I prefer the Moicano, Darius slightly. A lot of that has to do with the fight expected to finish and possibly just like, wow, Moicano gets 3 takedowns. Like right here, Josh is saying word on the street, Darius might retire. Like maybe Darius just is a little over the hill. Moicano gets 3 takedowns, gets a submission. It's expected to finish. Maybe Darius comes out, gets 3. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's more so on the feet. I think it's slow. More than likely, it probably busts. I do like the McVey fight more, McKini fight more, Delgado fight more. But I think the field will also think all of that as well. And I don't think the Royval Van fight hits the mat much, where I think there's more upside in this and it's more likely to finish, which had me leaning this one. But at the end of the day, I'm with you. You talked me out of this one a little bit, and I'll probably be under to the field on both of these. Like it's clear as day. I prefer Delgado, McKinney, Uert fight in the mid-tier more than these 2 fights on the main card. Okay, 3 fights left. What a fight this is. Brandon Royval, plus 100. Joshua Van, minus 120, plus 155 for this fight to finish. Van, plus 285 inside the distance. Royval, plus 375. Van just fought a little bit ago, earlier in the month. Awesome performance. 3rd-round knockout against Bruno Silva. He showed he's as elite as it gets. The bookmakers thought he was a little more elite than I think other people did. Opening minus 260, an insane line. Now he's sitting minus 115, minus 120 range. Royval's game. He's absolutely game. He's supposed to fight Manel Kopp. Kopp had to pull out. That fight was going to be sick. I wish it was 5 rounds. I really do. At 3 rounds, just like it goes to decision. Van wins. What do you think he scores on average? What do you think Royval scores on average in a win? I just find it hard to believe either gets a finish because I respect both guys' toughness, durability, skill, everything. And 15 minutes, I'm not sure it's enough time. So that's the reason I picked the other fight, Moicano Darius more. I'm going to be underweight maybe all 4 of these, though, as I prefer others in a strong mid-tier. But talk to me. I mean, real light. What a fight.
Yeah, I think this is a sneaky fight of the night. This should be a super high-paced striking match, high-level striking match as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. You know, from like a fan point of view, I don't know how much I love it from a DFS perspective. I like it a little bit more than that other fight because I think it plays out on the feet similar to this one. But this one probably has an extra 100 strikes thrown in it. So I would just prefer to take that. And I'm also slightly leaning Van, so I'd rather have the 200, especially when he's now a slight favorite. So he's my favorite of those 4. But at the same time, man, Royval is really good too. He could put up a high pace as well. We could see 150 strikes from either or both of these guys. I'm just really looking forward to it. I'm not going to force it into any lineups, but I think I'll end up, I would say, overweight to Van, underweight to Royval, or possibly underweight to both. But for me, it's closer to a 2-star than a 4-star.
My donkey mute. It's closer to a 2-star than a 4-star for me, for sure. I'm on the same page. I really don't have a strong lean. I was leaning Royval slightly, but I think DFS, I prefer Van because I think he has more just like 160 point or 160 significant strikes, 3rd-round knockout upside. But I'm not even confident in that. I mean, Royval's cardio is next level. His volume's great. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Royval submission, which has taken a lot of money for the props. Let's see. It was plus. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's see. He was plus 800 at open. Now he's plus 550 by sub. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's a great grappler, can find the neck, scrambles really well. Van's only loss prior to the UFC was by submission. So I think Royval, that's my favorite. If I had to bet anything in this fight, like a long shot, I would do Royval by sub. But it's a very, very good fight, high pace. Winner deserves a title shot, I think. And if it's Van, I do. Like if Pantoia wins, they want to give new blood. This division has seen enough. I think they would love to give Van a title shot to try and knock off Pantoia, which would be sick. 35-year-old against a 23-year-old. But first, Van has to win. And then second, Pantoia has to win. And again, this is 5 rounds. Flyweight belt on the line. Minus 250, Alexandre Pantoia. Plus 210, Kai Kara France. Minus 130 for this fight to finish. Pantoia plus 135 inside the distance. Kai plus 400. I mean, how do we pick against Pantoia? The dudes gave me no reason at all to pick against him. He'll box in the pocket with you. He'll come forward with all fights. His grappling, his back takes are next level. His wrestling's great. He's very durable. Now, Kai hits like a truck, and he slept Urseg. He's very live for the KO. I prefer Kai to Charles by a good bit. At the end of the day, I wouldn't hate if I was more overweight to Kai than Pantoia, I guess. Because, again, I do think Pantoia probably the highest owned on the slate. Really, really close. But I don't know how I can pick against Pantoia at this point. He is 35. He looks like he's still in his prime. Talk to me. Are you picking against Pantoia?
No, I'm not. I'm actually going to be Pantoia or pass in this one. I don't see me playing France in this one. He's going to be high owned enough for me where my bet will be that he doesn't win, and that'll be me not having lineups with him. I also think Pantoia will be my highest owned fighter on the card, but I'm not going to force him 100%. Maybe I'll have 75% Pantoia, 80% Pantoia, and then no KKF. I'm worried about the knockout for sure, but a decision, Cara France decision might not even make the optimal lineup.
I don't know. It has to score. I think Pantoia would push such a high pace. I just don't know how it wouldn't at this price. But I hear you. I just don't know if Pantoia can fight like that unless he just gets hit really hard early and just is a shell of himself and literally doesn't fight like that. Maybe. I get it. I don't know.
I just don't think this is the spot Pantoia loses in. I think maybe the winner of Royval Van could beat Pantoia. So my DFS lineups will be screwed if I'm wrong here. But yeah, I'm going to be no France and my underdog and will be the next fight instead. But that's why I'd say my favorite of the two would be my main event, because Cara France is my least favorite of the 4.
Makes sense. Mine's Charles, just because I think he's a lot less likely to win. But you're telling me Kai wins and Charles wins? Yeah, I'm putting a lot of money that Charles is scoring more. This dude, I mean, what a fight. Get right into it. Main event time. I was hoping, many were hoping, Ilya Islam. Still hope we do get it one day. But hey, if it's not going to be that, I'm always good seeing my man Chucky O in the main event. He deserves it. Very few as offensively skilled and dangerous as him. The line, you wouldn't know that by looking at it, though. Ilya opened minus 300. Now he's all the way down to minus 500. Charles plus 400 on the way back. Minus 800 for this fight to finish. Ilya minus 325 inside the distance. Charles plus 425. Ilya in round 1. We have, where'd it go? Plus 225. That's part of the thing I'm saying. Like, if he doesn't get a first round knockout, which plus 225 is not favored. Second round could score 105. I would be way underweight 105 at this ownership. Third round could be even less. At 9,300, I just give me Pantoia and his wrestling upside more. Even an Ilya round 1 finish, 108. Sure, I'd take it. It's not guaranteed to be enough at very high ownership. I'm going to probably be overweight fight fades, even with the field somewhere. Ilya, underweight Charles. I love Charles. I do think he's more live than this line indicates, but I think he'll be over-owned. Why do I say that? We have him projected at 28% right now. His money line at plus 400, it comes out to about 20%. So 28% owned, 20% chance to win. Do I think in losses that 8%, like he'll be optimal 8% in a loss? I don't. So just pure game theory numbers I'm looking at, he's going to be a lot higher owned than his chance at winning. With all that being said, I'm going to be underweight. Just simple math, simple numbers. That's it. I love Oliveira. His upside's great. I think a lot of people will like Oliveira, though, just because he fits so much, the name and the upside. Yeah, I mean, how do you see this fight playing out? Is Ilya going to keep it on the feet? Who's going to shoot for takedowns? Is he going to knock him out like everyone thinks? I mean, what a fight.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just think it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a war for as long as it lasts. I don't know if I've ever picked against either one of these guys. If I have, it would have been Oliveira because he's been around forever. But I really don't think I've ever picked against him. It would have been like Cerrone, Oliveira. I don't know who I picked in that one. I always pick both of them, So I'm not sure, but the line I do think is just disrespectful. I think it's off by possibly 10+% on the Topuria side. I think Oliveira could win this fight in any method. I think he could submit Topuria. I think he could knock out Topuria, and I think he could win a decision here too. So I have to be overweight Oliveira in this one. I see me having at least 40% of him, possibly 50%. And then maybe I have 40 to 50% Topuria as well, but that's going to put me in line or under the field on him. So my leverage play is for sure Oliveira in this one. I think Topuria has the much better boxing, much more powerful, one punch knockout, could be in any round. He's probably the better wrestler. I don't know who the better wrestler is at this point. Ilya doesn't really use it as much anymore. He kind of came into the UFC as a more grapple heavy, stylistic kind of guy. And then he's fallen in love with his power, and maybe that'll be a bad thing for him here. I remember the Jai Herbert fight. That was at 155, I believe.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I had if I had a big bet on Ilya or if I had a ton of them in DFS or what it was, but I was just so confident, and he got a takedown in the first round, and then it just looked like he completely gassed. And then Jai was putting it on him, and he just looked so much bigger and better on the feet. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's going to lose to this guy. I've been saying this guy's going to be a champion. He's going to lose to Jai Herbert. And then he just deaded him with that one shot. I don't know that if you're going to slow down against a guy like Charles Oliveira, I don't know that you're going to dead him. I think he's going to put it on you to a point where you're going to quit at some point. And I think if Charles can get him in a clinch position and start kneeing away at his ribs and then start kicking him out with some teeps throughout this fight, I think he can slow down Ilya and possibly finish him in round 3 or 4 or 5 in this one. But yeah, I just think that it's going to be an awesome fight. Topuria could knock him out in the first round and just never let Dubronx get off, but I'm going to load up. Either way, I hope I have a combination, at least with a chance to win it all going into this fight, so I have something to root for. But yeah, give me Oliveira to pull off the big upset.
That's all you can ask for. If you have a chance with either one going in the last fight, legit all you can ask for. And if you do have Topuria, and if any win, he's optimal. If you live in a legal sports betting spot, if you have friends there, a hedge with the plus 400 fighter, you don't need to put much to at least lock up some money. I don't think it's the worst way. But again, make sure you are locked into, I guess it's never locked in. You get a Henry Cejudo fight where you get eye poked and then he quits and then it's a no contest and both score 25 and you just burn all your money in sports betting in a hedge and in DFS. Just know what the risk is. Obviously, it's a low outcome. That stuff happens. But I'm always looking for that. I do live in a legal state. I unfortunately won't be on Saturday, so I'll be having to ride it myself or hit someone up. But what a fight. I agree with you. I think the line's off. I think I have to trust. I'm a guy that usually does trust lines and books. And just looking at plus 400, 20% chance to win. Ownership could be 32%. Just seeing the difference, I'm forcing myself to go underweight. I am going to definitely play some Charles, though. I honestly think Charles might even be a better bet than he is a DFS play at that ownership and at that price. Plus 400 is a big boy number. I'll definitely have some of both, though. Again, I'll probably be most overweight the fight fade, though, and hope other people in the upper tier outscore and the winner of Pantoja, France. I'll just hope Pantoja outscores Ilya and he wrestles more, which I think he does. Big Marley, 55 minutes talking some fights. Final thoughts before we get on out of here.
I can't wait for this main event. I think it's worth the pay-per-view alone. And then we got the Roy Val Van fight. That's just going to be complete fireworks. You got another title fight thrown in the middle of those. So this will be a pay-per-view I am attending, unless I'm just completely dead somehow going into it, which I don't think will be the case.
Watching it.
That's the only way I don't, right? But looking forward to it. Hopefully it's a good and profitable card. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
6:30 Eastern, T-Mobile Arena, fight capital of the world. Again, everything will be up on Friday, projections, ownership, rankings, color coding, everything you need. It's going to be a good one. Again, shout out to everyone watching. Like button, subscribe button on the way out. Helps us out a ton. And if you do want to join us at the Nation, get in the Discord, have access to Saber Sim, use that promo code UFC75. Gets you $75 off your first month. Takes you down to less than $1 a day, just $24. For Big Marley, I'm Titletown. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Good luck this weekend. Enjoy the beautiful weather and hopefully some more money in the pocket. Peace. Good luck.